From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. If you spend time in the mountains, you're probably familiar with sitting in traffic on I-70. That congestion is annoying and costly. Colorado officials estimate the state lost nearly $320 million in revenue last year from delays on I-70. Some leaders in mountain towns blame these losses on semis that cause accidents or hold up traffic. So one veteran railroad employee has pitched an idea he thinks will eliminate much of the aggravation and economic losses. It's called truck by train. Truckers would load their tractor trailers onto a train on one side of the Rockies and ride the railway over the mountains, keeping the I-70 corridor clearer for other travelers. It's the brainchild of retired Amtrak conductor Brad Swartzwelter, who played a role in reviving the ski train from Denver to Winter Park a few years back. Brad assured me his vision for truck by train is rooted in compassion and respect for truck drivers, and not a sense of annoyance.
I think truck drivers are some of the greatest heroes in our society. If you bought it, a truck brought it. And to me, to force a trucker with 60 tons of load to go up and down two passes that surpass 10,000 feet and then try to roll down on what's equivalent of a toboggan run in the winter is cruel and unusual.
Brad, how did this idea come to you?
My wife is from Austria, and we travel back there often. In Austria, they have highways in the Alps, just like our I-70. And they get destroyed and congested by trucks going from Germany down to the industrial areas of Italy, like Milan. The Austrians couldn't afford to maintain their highway, and they were losing tons of revenue, not being able to get skiers to places like Zell am See or Innsbruck because of traffic and accidents by truckers. So they created the rolling road, or the truck by train, what I'm calling the truck by train. That concept has worked brilliantly for 10 years. Just to put it in comparison, the A10 between Salzburg and Villach, which is across the Austrian Alps, closed about 12 times in 2024. I-70 through the Rockies closed 99 times.
All right, let's talk about what this would look like. The plan uses the existing Union Pacific Railroad that goes through the Rockies from Denver to Grand Junction. Take us through what this journey would be like for a truck driver. Where do they board? What do they do during the time they're riding?
Well, let's assume you're eastbound. A truck driver would come into Grand Junction, and they would drive their truck, the cab, the trailer, the whole rig, onto a ramp that would connect to flatbed train cars. And then that driver would drive up the train over bridge plates between the train cars until he gets to the next available train car, the last one in the line. Stop. Workers would put chocks on the truck to tie it down so it doesn't move around on the train.
Important.
The driver would get out of the truck. They would climb into the sleeping car, check into their room, close the door, and have privacy for the next 8 to 9 hours. The train would depart every 3 hours, and then it would take 8 to 9 hours to traverse the Rockies nonstop and end up east of the warehouse district in Commerce City, where the driver would have skipped all the congestion of the city of Denver, get out, get back onto his truck, drive off the train, and then either come into Denver to do work there or continue eastbound towards Kansas City, Omaha, Dallas, and be able to be fully rested at the end of the train journey. If they stay awake, it's perhaps the most beautiful train ride in the entire nation.
And is there a charge? Is there a ticket, like buying a train ticket?
Yes. The way I project the very amateur math, it would have to cost between $500 and $700 per truck to traverse the Rockies one way or the other. And that cost would be incurred by the motor carrier, either the truck driver or the company they work for.
Okay.
If that is compared to the cost of driving over the Rockies, in many cases, it will be less expensive. But the thing is, even if we built the entire thing where we have departures every 3 hours going both directions every day, it still wouldn't be enough to handle the entire market. We could handle perhaps 1,120 trucks a day. There are over 2,000 a day already on the highway. So it's not as if we're going to be able to handle everyone or force anyone to use it. But it'll be an option that doesn't exist today that'll make everything better for the driver and, most importantly, in my mind, all of us who want to get to the slopes.
Brad, I know that you've been speaking with truck drivers about this plan. What has been their reaction?
They're very skeptical because whenever they hear about something new for trucking, they almost always immediately assume it's a new regulation, it's a new cost, it's a new restriction, like putting on chains.
Sure.
Bail. This isn't a new restriction. This is a new option where you don't have to, but you can, and it's available. And then we start talking about costs and dollars and cents and how much they spend compared to how much it would cost to use the train and the other benefits that come with it, and they start to come around. Truck company owners get very excited because they could stage drivers on one end of the route and the other and send the truck without the driver over the mountains.
Colorado voters would have to approve this. You've estimated that the plan would cost around $1 billion to build. That's a steep initial cost, no way around that. How do you make the argument that if Coloradans need to pay for this, that they should shell out that amount of money?
Well, we're already shelling out $1 billion to straighten out one curve on I-70. Floyd Hill. This, for the same amount of money, could get 1,000 trucks a day off that highway. I think that's a bargain.
You've gone public now with this big idea. Just briefly, what needs to happen to turn this into reality?
The idea needs to become a plan, and to do that, it really needs an official study by the Colorado Department of Transportation. We can study this, we can figure it out economically and practically, and then put together a plan. Then that plan can go to the legislature or straight to the voters.
Well, just to wrap up here, how do you envision this truck by train idea would change the experience of driving through the Rockies on I-70?
For one thing, it'll be faster for all of us. It'll be safer because we won't be trying to pass slow trucks on icy roads. It'll be far less polluted. The train can be almost 90% less toxic as far as diesel emissions than all of those trucks burning their own engines. It would truly make the experience, I think, exponentially better. And not just for us in the cars trying to go skiing or trying to go hiking, but also for the truck driver who can have a much more enjoyable experience while still making money crossing the Rockies.
Brad Swartzwelter is a retired conductor who proposed an idea to put semi-traffic on the old Union Pacific rail lines that run through the Rockies. We'll include a link in our show notes and at kunc.org where you can read more about his idea. That's it today for In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thank you so much for listening.